Shalom, call Laimla Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah Bashem Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone, good rule and teach well. And a sincere shalom to the 144,000 and a 1/3. Now, found this post right here. And you can't see it on here because I guess my browser isn't updated. Just realized that my browser isn't updated on my laptop to see the AI overview, you know. So I'm gonna read it off my tablet, and that'll be it. I'll keep the screen loaded on here though. Actually, I'll go to the blue letter. All right. So here's a AI overview of why would humans still be needed for war in the age of AI? All right, because you will come to the conclusion that if you can just mass produce uh, robot soldiers that are going to be more effective killing machines, why would you need, a human? So this is the AI overview, which explains why Esau and these other nations are still going to have a reasonable amount of foot soldiers. While AI is increasingly integrated into modern warfare, humans are likely to remain essential for various reasons, particularly in areas requiring human judgment, ethical considerations, adaptability, and emotional intelligence. Here's why. Complex decision making and strategic planning. AI can analyze vast amounts of data and identify patterns, potentially assisting in strategic planning. However, humans excel at synthesizing diverse information, understanding nuances, and making strategic decisions in complex and uncertain situations. Yeah, AI, even though it's extremely intelligent, there's just some things it can't do, right? It doesn't know how to factor in volatility, uncertainty, all right, emotions, so on and so forth. That's the limitations to this AI. Warfare requires more than just data processing. It necessitates understanding human behavior, motivations, and the ability to adapt to unpredictable circumstances. Strengths that currently remain with human intellect. Don't get it twisted though. These nations are still going to have their robots, all right, their super advanced technology that you will see in science fiction. Those things are still going to be present because they're present now. I mean, go look at an F-22 Raptor. All right, there's going to be things way more advanced than that, like these aerial aircraft carriers. All right, these drones and all this other stuff. This is going to be a reality to warfare, but you're still going to have foot soldiers. All right, let's go to what is that? Joel 3. This is Joel 3:1. For behold, in those days, in that time, will I bring again the captivity of Yahweh and your Jerusalem. And I will gather all nations and will bring them down to the valley of Yahweh which means Yahweh's judgment. All right. And will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and part of my land. So the Israelites will still be in captivity during this World War III. All right. and the Edomites are in that land, and Ishmael and all these other nations, but primarily Ishmael and Amalek. All right, the chief house of Edom. So this is verse 3. And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they may drink, yet having their way, having pleasure with the children of Israel. All right. Verse 12. Let the heathen be wakened, and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Verse 18. So this is good, because this goes into Isaiah 11 right here, in Revelations, I think 11:2, or no, not, excuse me, not Isaiah 11, Isaiah 19, and Revelations 11. So this is Joel 3:18. And it shall come to pass in that day, that the mountains shall drop down new wine, and the hills shall flow with milk, and all the rivers of Yahweh shall flow with water, and a fountain shall come forth out of the house of Yahweh, and shall water the valleys of Shittim. So this is in the kingdom. Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness. This is talking about Babylon the Great here. This is end time prophecy. For the violence against the children of Yahweh, because they have shed innocent blood in their land. Yeah, after our captivity was over, the Edomites kept the affliction going. But Yahweh shall dwell forever in Jerusalem, from generation to generation. For I will cleanse their blood that I have not cleansed, for Yahweh dwelleth in Zion, which is the second covenant. This is I'll go more in depth to this right here later. Joel 3:18 on down. Now let's go to, I think that's it right there. Actually, let's try this. Okay, this is Ezekiel 39, and from the top, verse 1. Ezekiel 39:1. Therefore, thou son of man, prophesy against Gog, and say, Thus said Yahweh, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, which is going into Russia. Okay, I will turn thee back and leave but the sixth part of thee, and will cause thee to come up. So what that means is that a 1/6 of Russia's army is going to stay in Russia, and the other fifth, the other 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right, the fifth. So the majority of Russia's army is going to leave Russia, and a sixth of it will stay in Russia. It will cause thee to come up from the north parts, and will bring thee upon the mountains of Israel. So they're going to go invade our territory. All right, they're going to be up in uh, Palestine, Saudi Arabia, Lebanon. They're going to be all up in that general area. Okay. I will smite the bow out of thy hand, out of thy left hand, and will cause thine arrows to fall out of thy right hand. Thou shalt fall upon the mountains of Israel, thou and all thy bands, and the people that is with thee. I will give thee unto the ravenous birds of every sort, and to the beasts of the field to be devoured. So this is in World War III. The Russians, the Elamites, all the nations that align with Russia are gonna die. Okay, they're gonna be a large amount of dead bodies. Why? Because even with AI, they're still going to be foot soldiers. All right. Let me scroll down. Verse 11. It shall come to pass in that day, they'll all give unto Gog a place there of graves in Israel, the valley of the passengers on the east of the sea, and it shall stop the noises of the passengers, and there shall they bury Gog and all his multitude, and they shall call it the valley of Hamagog. So that's going to be a big old fertile. That's going to restore the land. All the corpses. It's going to make the land real fertile. All right. So let's get right here. So this is Joel 2:20. But I will remove far off from you the northern army, which is Babylon the Great's army, being put into West Asia, all right, Saudi Arabia and all those that region, okay, and will drive them into a land barren and desolate, with his face toward the east sea, and his hinder part toward the utmost sea. And his stink shall come up, and his ill savor shall come up, because he have done great things. So this is talking about Western Asia, where this World War III is going to take place. Because of course, the least of the flock is going to draw who out? Babylon the Great. All right. So let's go back into this AI overview a little bit. Human factors and adaptability. Warfare is an inherently a human activity rooted in human psychology and interactions, including elements of bluffing, deception, and the will to fight. Humans possess unique abilities for improvisation, instinct, and empathy that AI currently lacks, which are critical in dynamic and unpredictable combat scenarios. Furthermore, factors like troop morale and robust logistics, which are crucial for success in warfare, are currently best managed and maintained by humans. So, even with AI being on a ridiculous level, right, in terms of like speed, power, durability, even with a robot that can, shaped like a human, but I don't know, 15 feet tall, 4 foot wide, shooting laser beams, flying thousands of miles an hour, harder than steel, and it's like Sentinels from X-Men. Even with things like that, you can't properly go to war with those type of weapons, man. All right, so there will be drafts. Of course, there is going to be less soldiers than what it would have been if AI wasn't there, for sure. But that can be said about World War One and World War Two with the tanks and the fighter jets and all that. So Ottawa Rotterdam is edifying. Shalom.